Welcome to Alternate Ending, where we're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I am your host, Tim Brayton. It is the end of July, so we are going to celebrate, or at least take a look at, the films of the upcoming month, August 2026. I'm joined in this endeavor by two good friends of the show. First up, we have Cameron Shaw. Cameron, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit brain dead from just a week of very little sleep and very many things going on. So
That
I'm okay. I
that
apologize if I
is
sound like a blubbering idiot right now.
No, I get that. I feel like a blubbering idiot as well, and I'm sure we'll chat a little bit about that. But we before we chat about that, we also have another friend, also from the great state of California, Caleb Wimble. How are you doing tonight, Caleb?
I'm not bad. I'm not bad. July is hot, even if August looks decidedly not. And yeah, I've seen a lot of movies recently, so that's always good. I'm glad to be
Excellent.
back.
Yeah, no, I will say here in the Midwest, we finally had a reprieve from the heat
Oh,
wave. It's been nice
good.
the last like 3 days in a row, which feels wonderful. And I would like to make a quick announcement, just to explain why I at least am a little brain dead, and why I have also just like fully abandoned the world. I always wonder when I go like 10 days without logging anything on Letterboxd, like, do people think I've died? Like, does that is the discourse like wondering where I'm gone, or does it just not care?
It's extra concerning if you haven't published a review of like a 5 minute 1930s cartoon, I think. Then we
Okay.
start to really worry.
Okay. Well, I will take this moment to announce I have recently executed a move across the state of Wisconsin. Took a new job recently that I'm very excited about. It did completely nuke my life because
Hmm.
I had to execute that move in a hurry. And so I have basically not done anything that wasn't packing, unpacking, or like scraping up an hour and a half to watch something or other. So thank you all for your patience. I'm hoping in the very near future to get back to actually watching movies, and maybe if I can keep that going, maybe I'll actually start writing words about those movies as well. We'll just have to see. But one of the movies that I'm particularly excited to catch up with that I have not at this point seen, but I believe both of you have, and we wanted just to quickly touch on the big film of the moment, which is Christopher Nolan's 3 hour epic historical fantasy literary drama, The Odyssey. Which I'm very curious to hear thoughts. I am still undecided if I think it's going to be great or if I'm a little nervous about it. So let's start with you, Cameron. What were your thoughts about The Odyssey?
Okay, well, I fully intend to see it again because
Mm.
while we had good seats in the IMAX 70 millimeter theater, it was probably the first row that I would consider good seats, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. Like we were in the fourth row, and in the San Francisco IMAX theater, that's not bad, but also not perfect.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it perfect.
You'd like to see it from row like 7.
Yes, I would.
Mm.
Yes. And because it is very visually striking, as Christopher Nolan is wont to be. So that's fun. You have that to look forward to, Tim, I think. Uh, I liked most of it, I will say. I think, and I am not like a Greek myth person. I kind of know the basics, the broad strokes. I read Circe recently, sort of in preparation for the Odyssey, because it seemed like the most accessible thing to actually read quickly. Um,
Didn't want to plow through the Odyssey in a weekend.
I actually started listening to a an Audible book with Dan Stevens reading it. I don't know which
Mm.
translation it is. But man, he has a lyrical, tiring voice. So I found that it was hard to pay attention to. So I think reading it would actually be better for me.
Okay.
Anyway, I my main source of Odyssey knowledge prior to this was the 1980s DuckTales movie in which Scrooge goes on an Odyssey, and it's like an Odyssey parody.
I did
Have
not
either of you
know
seen
they did
this?
one.
I must have because I think I've seen all DuckTales. I don't remember this one specifically, but
I can't
there's a
imagine,
lot of
Tim, that you
DuckTales.
have not seen it. Yeah, I'll send you like a screen cap later to
Okay.
jog your memory. It's ridiculous, and but I realized in preparation for this that that is where a lot of my knowledge of the Odyssey came from. And then, in seventh grade,
Oh,
we
I
we read.
absolutely remember the
Oh, you're
sirens.
looking it up.
No,
Yes,
no,
the sirens.
I
That was
remember
what.
like
That's
it's
me
I
too. That was
remember
my.
that. Yes.
Yes, this indelible image of like these weird purple-necked, duck-headed siren. The ducks have hair, and it's just it scared
Yes.
the crap out of me as a child. So, and then in seventh grade, I read Greek myths and things. Anyway, so long story short, with the Odyssey, I really enjoyed it. I thought that on the whole, he did a great job of consolidating this massive epic into a story. Well, I mean, it already is a story, but into a
Into a story that can be experienced in one sitting.
yes, a digestible story. And I wanted more monsters.
Mm.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I wanted more of the monsters. I thought the Cyclops scene was one of the best. And I somebody who's very close to me worked on it, so I've heard a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and in that sense, I feel a little like biased towards wanting it to be a very good movie.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm interested to see it again. I also saw it at 10 p.m. and got home at 2 a.m. and it kicked off this week of very little sleep for me.
Sure.
So yeah. But yeah, for the most part, it really like fit the bill for what I wanted it to be.
Okay. Caleb, what were your thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. I come down on the side of the current screen format argument by saying you really do need to see this in IMAX. I think
Yeah.
probably most people in alternate ending would try
What
to
if there is
begin
a
with, but
0% chance that I can?
then at least
Why?
prioritize the
Because
theater with the
I would have
best.
to drive 2 hours.
Uh,
Drive 2 hours, Tim.
Okay.
Who are you?
Someone with a full-time job
What have
now.
you done with the Tim Brayton that I knew in college? Come on.
Okay.
That's what the
But
weekend's for.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
so as you were saying, Caleb,
Sorry.
so see it in 70, or see it in
You
IMAX rather, or
you
IMAX
really
70
should
if you're one of the
because
20
yeah,
cities in the
yeah.
world that can.
Yeah.
I'm one of those privileged cities, and really the compositions are they definitely feel like it's true that this was shot for IMAX, and
Hmm.
that a lot gets lost in the frame from what I've seen of some of the other chopped up images. But I maybe even more importantly than the screen is making sure it's a theater with a good sound system because
Oh,
the
wow.
Ludwig Göransson soundscape for this is like you can at times I even hesitate to even call it a score because there's really no distinction between the music and the sound design and the
Hmm.
sound effects and the creature sounds. The Cyclops, in which I agree with Cameron, like just probably the best scene in the movie and an
Mhm.
incredible creation, which I you probably know better than me, was mostly practical. Is that right? Like a lot of puppetry involved
It was
in
a lot of puppetry
the
and
Cyclops.
an actor in too. Bill Irwin played him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did know that. I did know that. I had just
Yeah.
It
forgotten that I
look
knew that.
it's great. I mean that scene is just that's everything you would want out of it. I also think the Hades scene really impressed
Hmm.
me, and I was not sure what Nolan would do with that. And I think he has both a very straightforward way of adapting it that is so visceral, and again with the way that the soundscape works into the visuals there,
Hmm.
there's a lot of this is not a particularly colorful movie for it being such a colorful epic in terms of locales and everything, but the way that Nolan uses blacks and grays in this movie are really impressive, and I think you
Hmm.
really get that in the Hades scene. You get that with the choice to make Agamemnon this like literal avatar of war and death. He does not feel like the character Agamemnon from the from the poem so much as like this just avatar, yeah, of doom and terror whenever he shows up, which is tied into the movie's decision to do, which is I think the maybe its most interesting facet, and for me least successful, which is it takes the story and basically makes it about how this war crime, how the Trojan War as
Hmm.
a war crime brings about the end of a civilized world order and the collapse of the Bronze Age, which is a major reframing from the themes of the poem, of course, and the way that epic goes. And it's a very interesting place to take it. Again, it's I don't think Nolan really can pull it off at the writing level, and the actors sure are trying. And I have mixed thoughts on the cast, but it sure is like a lot of beautiful people, like well costumed and in incredible
Yes.
scenes.
I mean, beautiful people in costumes is cinema. So
Yeah, and there were some definite standouts in there. I think both our sea witches are fantastic. In Cersei, who's, oh gosh, which actress is that playing her? And
In Circe, it's Samantha Morton.
thank you,
Yeah.
Samantha Morton, and then Charlize Theron as Calypso. Also, like a really welcome presence here. Yeah, I mean, I like the writing and a lot of the dialogue, especially the stuff that adds considerably onto the Ithaca dialogue and scenes, which I think are probably the most pace killing parts of the
Hmm.
movie in a lot of ways. There's that's sort of like inherent to, Penelope is trapped there, and I think Anne Hathaway is doing, like, she's killing it with what the role gives her there. And I think even Tom Holland is less of a liability than I expected him to be. Oh, but Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson may be star of the show.
Oh, he was, yes,
His
absolutely.
Antinous,
Yeah.
yeah, just perfectly slimy. He's is exactly the kind of role Pattinson is perfect in these days. Like, really, simultaneously charismatic and awful oily characters. But yeah, I'm pretty positive on it.
okay.
Um, Even if I have my reservations, it's definitely the event of the summer. I'm so glad the event of the summer is not an MCU movie, but
Mhm.
Well,
an
well,
ancient Greek
that
epic.
remains to
That,
be seen, but
well,
unfortunately,
for
It
us, and
for us, for
it
for
is
people who care about the medium,
it is really exciting, I think, to make another case for you driving 2 hours to see it in IMAX 70. Like, sitting in a theater full of people who are excited about the fact that they're seeing it on that format
sure.
is like both a dwindling phenomenon in the world and just like it's like fills your soul
Okay.
if you like movies. So that is that is a case for that. I also thought, like, I really liked how it was the script, and again, I don't want to give too much away, but like it's told verbally as like a in the like tradition of telling stories
Mm,
verbally. Like you learn all this stuff from somebody telling it to another character
okay.
and like reflecting on things. And I just, in the spirit of the original, I thought that that was really well done and like kind of takes you from episode to episode in a elegant way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, the kind of capsule review, I wanted there to be more monsters, and the momentum dies when it gets to Ithaca. Both suggest that it is a very faithful adaptation of the Odyssey. So
Sure.
that's
it's
mean. I shouldn't say that, but also the Odyssey spends half of its time after he gets back to Ithaca, which is one of those things I think
that's
people don't
true.
realize about the Odyssey.
Yeah. Yeah. But I it sounds like you want other people to continue talking about this film on
I
the
I I
podcast as
think
well.
we will be returning to the Odyssey on this
Mhm.
podcast. It's clearly going to be no new release for some time is going to supplant this as like the thing we
Mm.
talk about, I suspect. I am hoping to see it. I will say my reservation, which is a little bit borne out, I think, by what I just heard. Um, when Nolan announced that he was making this project, my immediate instinct was to feel that he's a very literal minded filmmaker, and
Yes.
I don't want a literalist version of the Odyssey, perhaps.
Hmm.
But he's also one of the only living filmmakers who could get a budget big enough to do the Odyssey.
Mhm.
So it's like it's him or Denis Villeneuve. It's like, well, I guess I'd rather have
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's
That that
Odyssey than
Yes.
Denis Villeneuve's.
Yeah.
that was 100% my reservation. And the moment they announced that he was doing it, I called the shot on the Discord. The gods aren't going to be in this. They're not
Oh,
going to be
for
real.
sure, for
And
sure.
of course, they're not in it, other than exactly what I thought it would be. We get some limited dream sequence
Okay.
gods, but of course they cannot be characters in the story, because monsters, I think Nolan can work with for some reason. And there's magic in this movie. There's real
Hmm.
I wasn't sure there would be, because the movie opens with the tagline, "In an age of apparent magic," and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, Nolan, none of
It
it
is
real.
actual magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but there is actual magic in this,
Yeah.
just no gods for some
Okay.
reason.
Yeah, just when the first poster's tagline was "Defy the Gods," I was just like, this is not going to be the version of the Odyssey that I would like to cost $19 million. But no, I'm still going to see it. I'm sure it's still. I have yet to dislike a Nolan feature other than his very first one when he was like 25 years old. So
Hmm.
That being said, even though we just spent some time talking about the Odyssey, we are still going to talk about some other movies as part of our movie roundtable, and we have another movie based on an ancient, epic, historical fantasy text
Hmm.
about people with swords. Cameron, what are you bringing to the table today?
Okay, I'm going to talk about Excalibur from, is it 1981, Tim?
81 or 82? I
I think
forget
it's
which of those.
81.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, so I didn't read a ton of classics in my youth at my hippie liberal San Francisco private schools. We did a lot of like modern classics
Mhm.
and things from countries that you wouldn't necessarily put in the classical canon. So I didn't read a lot of King Arthur. I did do the Le Morte d'Arthur and the Once and Future King, and that's about it.
Hmm.
I feel like that is actually, in fact, a lot of
Yeah,
Arthur.
yeah, that's those are the two core texts
Okay,
for most
great,
people.
great. Well, then, sure, then I'm an expert. I watched Excalibur kind of on a whim, and it was built up a bit for me by a few people, and I it was fine. It was not, this is it's a pretty straightforward King Arthur epic story. There's no like gimmick. It's not a musical. It's not uh, a kid in King Arthur's court or anything like that. Um, it it's very colorful, and I did
Hmm.
appreciate that. It's colorful in a weird way.
And shiny, very shiny.
Very
So,
shiny.
so much chrome in this
There's so
version of
much
First
chrome.
Millennium England.
They are the shiniest armor I've ever seen. And there's a lot of like flashes of green, like little green spots, and which I'm sure had a meaning. The Excalibur is tinged with green quite a bit. There's a lot of very warm tones and a lot of like purple. So it's very 80s in the lighting and color used. And I appreciated that. I appreciated the cast, which is um,
Just
just a lot of big players
yeah,
from back then or
killer,
people.
killer cast. A lot of
Yeah,
whom were not famous yet, and then would become
right,
famous.
exactly. They've
Hmm.
become famous since then. And off the top of my head, I am blanking on who I should mention with
Helen
that. Oh,
Mirren,
there you
Yeah,
go. Helen Mirren's a great
Nicole
one.
Williamson. Yeah.
Yeah,
those
Helen
are
Mirren
literally the
back
only
when.
two people I can remember without looking it
Yeah.
up. It's like the famous
Um,
white hot superstar Nicole Williamson.
yeah. Well, and Helen Mirren, I mean,
Oh
God,
yeah.
you te like talk about hot.
Mm,
Um, she was hot back then. Um,
was
was she still
is
is hot? Gabriel
is.
Byrne was in it back, like in a
Oh, that's
small
right.
part.
Oh.
Patrick Stewart, like, and I didn't even notice it was Patrick Stewart at first, and then he spoke,
Because
and
he
I was
got
like,
hair.
oh, it's Patrick Stewart. No, did he have hair in it?
Maybe he
Yeah,
doesn't have
sort of.
hair.
I don't.
Right?
Okay,
Doesn't he? Or no? Doesn't
I
he have
don't.
like the mane underneath but bald on top? Or is that a different
I
80s
don't
movie?
think so. I think
No.
that maybe a different 80s movie.
You've
Liam
certainly seen
Neeson's
it
in
the most
this.
recently. So
Yeah,
Hmm.
Kieran Hines. I mean, I watched it on a computer, guys. Like, it's not, it wasn't the highest resolution thing in the world. But so I did enjoy watching it. I am glad that I have seen it. I don't know that I will revisit it anytime soon. And yeah, I take it, Tim, that you are much more enthusiastic about this
it
film than I
it
am.
is in fact my favorite film of the Arthur material, which is a difficult thing to even put a word on because there's just like so
Mhm.
many scraps of paper that make up the corpus of Arthuriana. But it
Yeah.
is my favorite film taken from those many, many scraps of paper.
Okay.
In part because I think it is the only one that I have seen that gets it. So the Mort D'Arthur is a really odd text that was kind of
Yeah.
just cobbled together by a semi-literate convict, and it reads weird. Like when
Sure
you're
does.
reading Mort D'Arthur, it feels like these kinds of dead ends and weird curlicues, and then very elaborately written descriptions that are immediately followed by, and then 7 years later, after walking through the wilderness, he arrived here.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
And so it's very jarring and in some ways unpleasant to read it as a story. And I liked that Excalibur it feels structurally funky in a
Yes.
similar way. Like
Hmm. Okay.
it's not really this is a weird thing to say as praise. It's not really telling a coherent story. It's more just kind of like a bunch of scenes at the end of which you've sort of gotten a summary version of what the hell happens to Arthur,
That
In a
is,
fever
yeah.
dream way,
which is
the
kind of
Yeah.
what it
speed they
feels
come
like
at
to
you.
read Mort Darther, only it takes days to read Mort Darther
Yeah.
in an unedited version, and Excalibur's only 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, the things I liked about it, I liked Merlin being very not at all what I picture Merlin as. He's this like kind of stern bald dude
Mhm.
who's just always stalking around with his staff. And I liked the Lady in the Lake, you know, that's that kind of stuff. It was good. It
Yeah.
visually interesting.
I do like the extreme 80s-ness of it. Like all the chrome, all the
Yes.
kind of I don't want to call it neon because that gives the wrong impression, but there's certainly like
Yeah. It's very
neon
saturated.
flavored colors, perhaps.
Yes.
As you said, green and
Saturated
purple
with
are like
yes.
very strong colors in this film. I like how much it's not trying to not be an 80s film, but at the same time does not feel remotely contemporary. It feels like some sort of strange object that has just kind
Yes.
of oozed out of
Yeah.
John Borman's bizarre brain.
Very alien, very, I think, effectively fairy in a way that the 80s are kind of a good fit for in that
Hmm.
sort of fever dreamscape of just passing through the narrative so quickly. Like the way the characters are constantly falling asleep to begin with, but it I mean, another part of the central weirdness of Arthur is right that is trying to merge this pre-existing pagan set of mythologies and beliefs and divine semi-divine figures with Christianity in a sort of odd mishmash of symbols and moral lessons coming out of it. And that sort of like morally alien nature too, I think, comes through it for me in a lot of ways. Like I just remember this movie feels like, yeah, like you've fallen through a hole in a portal fantasy
Mm,
into another kind of reality, another way of telling stories that are maybe not like great storytelling in the modern cinematic sense, but they are effectively
it's
transportive as
very
I remember.
distinctive. It creates a
Yeah.
mood. And I feel Caleb, like you and I are both basically just saying John Borman was fucked up on cocaine and didn't know how to make a movie.
It's
And and
1981. Of course he was.
he was also
Now,
John Borman. I think we have fairly direct
Yeah.
evidence.
do I recall correctly? This came out of his failed attempt to make the Lord of the Rings, right? Out of
That
his
is
Lord of the Rings
correct.
Oh,
script
That
and
is
oh,
production
correct.
design and everything. Yeah,
that's
that's a
fascinating.
hell of a script if you've
Which
ever read it.
it begs the question of what in the hell his Lord of the Rings was going to look like.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Similarly, cocaine fueled. If you read the screenplay,
I would
is
imagine
my
so.
general summary. Yeah.
probably. I think also cocaine fueled is like maybe the main reason that it kind of grated on me was I think almost with maybe the exception of the female characters, every character just yells every line of dialogue. And like it's like a substitute for seeming passionate about things, but in fact it's just yelling. At least that's how I read it. And I don't know, that was a lot. It was a loud movie that didn't need to be loud. I think.
That is
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
A lot of Shakespearean stage actors with bad mics and little screen experience.
Exactly. Yeah. In summation on Excalibur, I'm sort of medium on it. Like, not terrible movie, but don't need to see it again.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, what are you bringing to the table today, Caleb?
A bit of a change of pace, and maybe a good companion with the Odyssey, a movie that almost everyone has seen, one that almost no one has seen. This is She's the He, which is a 2025 coming of age comedy. More on that in a second. Written and directed by Siobhan McCarthy. It was a South by Southwest premiere last year and took a long time to get any sort of theatrical release in a very limited fashion. And you can see it on streaming and rental now. The main hook of this movie is that one, it is doing a bad 80s teen comedy as its framing in a similar way to Bottoms was in 2023, and that's probably the
Yeah.
most direct comp for this one, taking like the toxic like utter horny and often extremely misogynistic 80s high school comedy and transporting that into a complete queer love fest for the genre that is also like a lot of weird inversions and playful experimentation with those tropes. It is written by the director Siobhan McCarthy, starring Misha Osherovich as Ethan and Nico Carney as Alex. Nico Carney, the actor, is a trans man playing as Alex, a cis male high school student who convinces his best friend Ethan, played by Misha Osherovich, who is a trans woman playing at the start of the movie a person who doesn't know that she is trans but is presenting as a cis male as well. They're they are best friends who everybody thinks are gay for each other, and so they're not getting any women as they want. They're trying to have sex before they graduate. Classic 80s sex comedy thing. And Alex gets it in his mind that they should pretend to be trans girls so that they can get into the locker room again. Like this is playing with some real bad 80s comedy stuff, but also like something that is a really electric issue today in the anti-trans rhetoric that we have in the US and the UK right now. And so these actors who are in real life a trans man and a trans woman respectively are playing two cis teenage guys, ostensibly straight, who are disguising themselves as women and pretending to be trans. And then at various other points, doing a second layer of costume disguise on top of that, back to swap genders again. In the course of which Ethan, Misha Osherovich's character, discovers that she is actually trans, even as this whole ruse gets increasingly convoluted and gets them into massive trouble, culminating in a really troublesome climax with the school's, I think, hockey team and everything. If you followed any of that, congratulations. I was in the position of having to explain this to some of the people I was watching with, a couple of whom were older and not like incredibly up to date on current gender norms and gender expression to begin with, and constantly wanting to get a running commentary about what was going on. But it is a manic movie. Very exciting at the beginning because it does that thing where there's loads and loads of animation and I mean like 2D hand-drawn animation playing into the scenes, kind of the Scott Pilgrim sort of thing, like playful with the music, drawn into the scenery in a lot of ways. And like most movies that do that, and it's really impressive and beautiful, it lasts for maybe the opening 10 minutes and then largely disappears until like the last 10 minutes of the film, because
What a bummer.
this is an almost, yeah, it's a no budget movie, like total shoestring, including some shots that are like where somebody, to get an establishing shot of a plane, clearly walked outside in their yard in Los Angeles and turned the camera up going overhead.
Gotta do what you gotta do. That's great.
You gotta do it. Yeah, there's a lot of guerrilla filmmaking in this, I suspect, from numerous scenes. But there's a lot of heart. It's got, the writing is very uneven. Some parts of it are hilarious. Some scenes really could have used some vicious editing and go on well too long. But it's very heartwarming in various turns. It's actually like, despite the confusion of the folks I watched with, probably one of the better movies for people who are just curious about like what the trans experience and the teen trans experience is like, especially in the current insanity of this political moment. And the movie is not like, for the most part, it's very lighthearted. It's very like mile a minute, big over the top gags, except for a few scenes where it does get serious and then the kind of like drags to a halt for 10 minutes. And sometimes that's in a really effective, emotionally sad scene. And other times it just kind of kills some momentum. So it's I really, for me, impressive film debut. If it sounds like something that's up your alley, it probably is. Just know that, like it's got a lot of raw, like actors who have never done this before. It's a lot of that. It's a no budget movie that's trying a thing, and I think often succeeding at it.
Okay. Yeah, I love the hook, but I was kind of afraid of exactly what you said, that it does seem like a bunch of people in their backyard making a movie, so to speak. And I can sometimes struggle with that degree of low budget. So I still haven't decided if I feel like I want to see this, because I'm very intrigued by like not just the plot hook, but like how the plot hook fits in with the actors. And it's a movie that I kind of don't want to see because I want to be able to root for it, and I think that might be harder to do if I watch it.
Oh,
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
yeah. Yeah. I find I actually didn't realize it was such a low budget movie. Like the fact that I've heard of it is kind of impressive for such a low budget movie. Like I heard of it,
Yeah.
in just in the ether. Somehow. I don't think it was, maybe it was via this podcast, but I don't really think so. Like it's got a good title that is
Mhm.
memorable
Hmm.
and kind of immediately called to mind like white chicks, unfortunately. And I think that was where I was like, oh, is this gonna be that kind of awful? And it sounds like it's not. So I'm happy to hear that it has some more nuance than what I broadly assumed it was. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you said it's currently streaming.
Yes, available to rent. I don't know if you can see it included in any plans anywhere, but
Hmm.
Okay,
not hard to find if you just hop on
cool.
Apple TV or
Good,
Amazon.
good to know.
Cool.
Well, I will bring my film to the round table. This is a Patreon request, which comes to us from Patreon supporter Christophe Romain, uh, who has given me an intriguing film here. It's from 2004. It is a Belgian dramedy that won the the film that I guess, I mean, one hates to use the ex Oscars, but basically the Belgian Oscars. It won Best Picture in 2004. So it both has a pedigree and somehow doesn't because it is a film that I could only find on Tubi. And when I say only find, I also mean like I couldn't pirate it because I didn't want to watch it on Tubi because I didn't want ad breaks. And it's not like on any of the piracy sites. So,
Hmm.
so this is pretty obscure. This movie is called Steve Plus Sky. As I said, from 2004, the debut of a filmmaker whose name I am probably going to mispronounce, Felix von Groningen, who I recognized his name and I didn't realize why at first, and I'm glad I didn't because it turns out the reason I knew his name was because he also wrote and directed the 2018 film Beautiful Boy, which
Hmm.
Oh,
which I really did not like.
yeah. Interesting.
So I didn't have a chance to let that kind of color my experience of walking into this movie. I'm really glad I didn't. This is a weird little story about a couple 20 somethings in a particular, I think neighborhood is the word to use, but in Ghent, in the city of Ghent, in the Dutch speaking part of Belgium. There's this like region or neighborhood or whatever the word one uses to describe subdivisions of Ghent, where sort of young bohemians and prostitutes and drug dealers all kind of mix together, like that kind of neighborhood that every big city has. And so Steve is a this very low rent drug dealer whose girlfriend rear ends a police car and he freaks out, starts running, gets caught, goes to prison, meets a man named Jean Claude, who's kind of this like wannabe criminal mastermind. Who, after they get out of prison, Jean Claude opens a brothel, and one of the people who ends up working there is Sky, a young woman Steve's age, and Steve and Sky meet sort of through Jean Claude and really hit it off, and they start dating, kind of. And she seems into it, and Steve sort of seems into it, but he's also not really someone who seems into things. He's just kind of a directionless 20 something. And and that's pretty much it as far as plot. The movie's really just about like it's very vibes. It's very, very vibes heavy. Just like being these young people in this kind of precarious situation where the world around them is pretty low rent. Like this is clearly not a nice part of town, but it's also not like unnice in an interesting way. It's just kind of like, no, this is just a crummy place to be. And they're both people who don't want to be there but don't really have like dreams and aspirations. Like they're just kind of restless in a way. So it's not an American film, which would certainly have all of that. Like it would have this kind of like big sentimental streak. There's nothing sentimental about this film. It's just kind of this wry drama watching these people not quite know how to move forward in their lives. But really what it's doing far more than it's telling a story is it's it's kind of chopped up its plot a little bit and swirled it around and has this really very, very interesting way of structuring its narrative of just kind of like scenes out of order, very, very post Tarantino, I'd say. Like it creates a rhythm that isn't narratively clear, but does sort of really build on like the way the dialogue is delivered, the way
Mhm.
conversations happen. So I found it very exciting to watch rhythmically, to kind of hop back and forth. Like the first thing we find is this conversation between Jean-Claude and Steve in prison, and the conversation just is absolutely going nowhere. And this turns out to be one of Jean-Claude's characteristics. He tells these really long jokes without punchlines, and he thinks they're hilarious, and everyone around him is like, "What? Why did you just do that to me?" So the movie opens on one of those, and then it goes back to find out how Steve got into prison, and then it skips ahead to the conversation where they meet that leads up to Jean-Claude telling his bad joke for the first time. And so it's just kind of
Mm.
like flowing around, and there's a sense that it's maybe about like these adult-minded people kind of plucking bits of their memory and trying to reassemble an identity out of it. Um, and actually, very much like you were just describing, Caleb, it's doing that for about 25 minutes.
Oh no.
And then it pretty much stops. And those 25 minutes, I was like gripped. I was so excited by this movie. Very scrappy filmmaking. The Tubi print is clearly ripped from a VHS. I don't know if it was actually digitally shot or if it was shot on film. It looks like hell, certainly the version I saw. But there's a kind of like scruffiness that you can still see through that. Lots of long shots, lots of wide, like long takes of wide shots. So really just kind of letting the characters find their own rhythm that way. Um, but then it does hit this point where it like just kind of turns into, let's just kind of follow and watch Steve and Sky kind of pinging off of each other and not quite committing to a relationship.
Mm.
And I didn't dislike it because by that point I was sold on the characters and I was sold on the performances. Titus DeVoot plays Steve and Delphine Bafour plays Sky. Um, I liked them. I wanted to see where things were going for them, but I became less interested in the movie per se after a
Mm.
while because it,
Mm.
it does kind of stop with that post Tarantino, let's swirl up the plot and just kind of go by vibes rather than narrative drive really. But the thing that it did do throughout that I really liked, uh outstanding needle drops.
Hmm.
The
Interesting.
the score is European disco from the 70s. Um, and one of the things that's kind of a constant throughout the film is that Sky, when she doesn't have anything else to do, just like decides to wherever she is, she'll just kind of dance a little bit. And so there's a lot of like little scraps of disco dancing where she's just kind of hanging out, vibing to
Mm.
this very driving late disco style music. And I just was completely taken with the musical element of this film, which does continue to
Okay.
give it a kind of interesting rhythm even after the editing has sort of abandoned
Hmm.
doing that. Um, Nice and short. It's 97 minutes long. Obviously, made a bit longer through the Tubi ad breaks, but doesn't wear out its welcome, which is something that I think a film that's this kind of directionless easily could have done.
Mm.
But by the time I was starting to get bored with it, it was basically over. And that first 20 25 minutes bought a lot of goodwill too. So had a good time watching it. I think there is a 4-star movie begging to get out of it if it had kept up with that crazy like
Yeah.
narrative messiness in the beginning. As it is, I think it's probably I'm still at a 3.5, I would say. I did like this film quite a lot. Made me feel like I have to revisit Felix V's whole thing because I saw the Broken Circle breakdown, but I don't really remember it. And I saw A Beautiful Boy, and I really disliked it. And he made quite a few other films in Belgium, so I think I should maybe try
Mhm.
checking a couple of those out because there's a really good energy to this very very youth cinema, but like a
Hmm.
particularly digital era type of youth cinema. So I was pro this movie. So thank you, Christoph, for putting it in front of me. I would most certainly not have heard of that this film ever existed if not for you putting it in my way. So thank you for that. Because it's definitely it's a good time. It's I probably feel about it the way you feel about Excalibur a little bit. Like I'm not going to see it again. Maybe
Yeah.
if there's like a restoration, I would probably see it again just to see it looking not so dinged up. But there won't be a restoration of this movie.
I
Um,
can't find on the internet what it was shot on. It's all IMDb has is that the aspect ratio. It's
I
like,
mean,
and that it was color.
oh,
Great.
also the Tubi version is window boxed, which did not add to the
That's
experience.
unfortunate. Yeah,
Um,
okay.
but no, so a cool time, nice and short, and really reminded me of like when these scrappy indies were still doing something that I was really excited by in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
So very, very happy that I saw this. Again, Steve plus Sky, courtesy of Christophe Romain. So thank you for that. And speaking of our Patreons, if you, like Christoph, want to support the show, you can do that very easily by clicking on the support the show banner on the right side of the page, any page on the website. I believe we have currently used up all of the tiers that allow you to force me to watch a movie and then either write about it or talk about it on the podcast, but we do still have plenty of spots open if you want to get early access to reviews, which I, as I said, I do plan to write again ever, and
Someday.
also take part in polls and play along with trivia when we have our occasional trivia games. So with that, let's turn our attention to something probably less interesting than anything we have talked about thus far, but maybe that's me trying to bias the conversation before we even started. But let's talk about the films of August 2026. August being a month that's pretty much where movies get released that have like they want them to be perceived as summer releases, but no one really expects a lot of them. It's not quite September, and it's
Oh,
not
I think
quite.
it's worse than September.
You think it's worse than
Interesting.
September?
I think September, you're getting your Oscar season is bleeding into September.
Oscar season is bleeding into September, but September is also the Oscar movies that aren't going to get
Well,
nominated.
that's very
Hmm.
true. Yes.
I would say I would put August above January and September, but not by a lot, certainly. And
Okay.
and so with that, let's go ahead and talk about some of these films. Uh, quite a few of them because it is that month where they're just like putting stuff. So we have three wide releases on the first weekend of August. That would be Friday, August 7th. Um, and I'm gonna start with the one of these that I am the most interested in, and I'm still not all that interested, but but it's something. This would be The Ice Cream Man,
Oh my God,
directed by
Tim.
Eli Roth. Uh,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I Here's the thing. It's a remake of a junky slasher movie. And
Okay.
and if it gets at like I don't mind junky slasher movies if they have like verve. I do, however, tend to mind Eli Roth films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it lost me.
So I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm
that's
cur
okay.
I'm curious but not enthusiastic about Ice Cream Man. And it sounds like I'm the only one who can even dredge up that amount of maybe.
I mean, I feel like I've seen the movie by watching the trailer
Fair.
and
Hmm.
also have seen more blood and gore effects from just the trailer than anything else. Like,
Hmm.
than I think the entire year for me so far.
Okay.
So, and you guys know I don't really go for slasher horror movies that often.
For
So
sure.
that's not that surprising, but man, they showed a lot of
Yeah,
effects
they did.
and gross stuff in this trailer.
I haven't actually watched the trailer. When I saw that it was a remake of Ice Cream Man by Eli Roth, I was like, well, that's the data points I need to
Oh
make this
man,
decision.
I almost want to pause this and make you watch the trailer because it is a lot, and it goes too far, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Well, he
it,
goes too far, so that tracks.
yeah, but I don't know. Maybe that's what people want from a remake from Ice Cream Man of
Sure.
Ice Cream Man. I didn't know it was a remake, so that it's like
Yeah.
vaguely more interesting, maybe.
I mean, it's not a remake of a good or classic movie. It's a remake of a direct-to-video movie.
Hmm.
So,
What they
It
call scraping the bottom of the ice cream bin there.
hey.
it kind of seems to be trying to get at the like leftover feeling of weapons, like
Hmm.
kids going crazy sort of thing, which is I
Okay.
don't think that's Eli Roth's jam. Like I don't think
No.
that's what he should be doing with his career.
I
I don't know
mean,
what I do think he should be doing.
he should be quietly retiring with his
Yeah.
career. Well, let's hop over then to a very different movie for a very different core audience, which is One Night Only,
Hmm.
which is the purge of sex. Is basically
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Was I the only person here who the first time I watched the trailer for this film, and I've seen it probably 8 times since in
Yes,
theaters, I
it's
didn't
before
realize it
everything.
was. Yeah, the first time I completely missed that it's a dystopian future where you can only have sex on one night, because that seems like such an incidental fact to the rest of the trailer that plays out.
I have seen
You're
the trailer
totally right.
once, and
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yes,
Okay.
it took reading the log line for me to catch on to that, honestly.
I feel like I picked up on that, but yeah, it is very much a like meet cute, like straight up rom-com. It seems like beyond that dystopian future part. So
yeah.
it,
This
yeah.
the way they talked about the one night, I thought they just meant Valentine's Day, and I was watching the entire movie thinking, why is this coming out in August?
Yeah, I didn't remember what this movie was called, and as soon as I opened the trailer, I was like, "Oh no, God, I've seen that trailer 17 times. Like, I don't need to watch this one again." So, they're really pushing it. Like it is, and
Yeah.
in their favor, it is probably the only vaguely normal movie coming out this year.
That's
So,
probably true. I
And that,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in terms of them pushing it, I can look out my window right now, and there is a massive billboard of it almost directly above our house. So
Okay.
yes,
yeah.
the campaign is in full swing here.
I mean, it has two beautiful young people falling in love, ostensibly. I don't know if that's what actually happens, but I assume it does.
It seems
And
like it would be a
yeah,
waste for it not to.
yeah.
I I feel like the thing that is they're not obviously positioning it as this, but like the director Will Gluck, it's his follow-up to Anyone But You, which was that
Yeah.
like no one expected it to do anything remotely like the numbers it did. So I think there's maybe some hope that he's going to make Lightning Strike again. But
Mm.
Hmm.
I
Maybe.
I would say the pretty people in this are not as pretty as the pretty people in that.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I would also say that Will Gluck is someone whose filmography inspires just so much dread in me.
Oh,
Um,
right, Peter Rabbit too.
Peter
Okay.
Rabbit 1 and Peter Rabbit 2.
Oh, wow.
Also the Jay-Z Annie.
Oh my God.
Like
Mm.
his second film was Easy A, which I think is a wonderful film. And
Yeah,
That
it's
is a
his best for
wonderful
so
film.
sure.
I always
Yeah.
think of like, oh, the
Yeah.
Easy A guy, and then I'm like, wait, no, the Easy A and both Peter Rabbits guy, and then I
What was his
immediately
first film? If Easy A was his second
fired
film,
up,
never heard of it.
which was
Okay.
about on the subject of trashy misogynistic 80s comedies. It's from 2009. It's about two guys who go to cheerleader camp because they figured that they'll be the only men there and there will be lots of girls.
Ah,
And
Wow. That
and
one of
and
those.
boy do
one of
they learn
those.
their lesson. I think. I don't
Okay.
remember. Maybe they
Great.
learned their lesson. It was bad.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And then
Well, not, yeah, don't need to see that one.
no. And then that brings us to Super Troopers 3, which has reminded me that there existed a Super Troopers 2.
Hmm.
And and yeah, remember Broken Lizard back from like, I don't know, was it like this
2002.
like we were in college, right?
We were in college. My college boyfriend and I went on one of our first dates to Super Troopers.
All right.
And
Wow.
that's the only reason I know exactly when it was. But um yeah, we were in college. Super Troopers 2, not great. I feel like they get like 33% worse every time. This one looks 33% worse than Super Troopers 2.
Okay.
So, they lose a third of their value in my estimation. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no attachment to this franchise. I have no attachment to the comic team that cranked out this trilogy as well as a few other movies. I think they did Club Dread, I think was the same creative group.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I mean, it looks like maybe something that might be kind of funny if you're on a plane or at a party or something.
Sure.
Like I feel like maybe they've used a lot of their jokes in the trailer, and that's unfortunate.
It is. You
Yeah.
gonna take a big swing to defend this one, Caleb?
I have not seen a Super Trooper of any sort, so no, it doesn't look like the one to bring me in.
Okay. Well, I
The
think
first
that
one's worth seeing.
the first one's fun. It's I
Yeah.
cannot imagine that it has aged especially well, but it was fine at the time.
Oh, probably not. Yeah.
Um, well, let's just trudge then right on into the second weekend of August, August the 14th. Um, and I'm going to start with probably the closest there is to a film this month that I think I want to see on its merits,
Hmm.
perhaps, which is The End of Oak Street.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that. I thought you were going to say something, one of the other ones
What
this week.
did, did,
Okay,
what
interesting.
what did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say The Brink of War. And
Why?
I don't know, because it looks weirdly serious and it has Jeff Daniels
Oh,
playing Reagan. Like,
It's an Angel Studios
like,
film about how
let me tell.
Reagan won the Cold War.
I
I,
felt robbed of the
I
3 minutes I spent watching that trailer when Angel Studio logos came out. Like, well, that would have saved me the time in the first place because God, this looks awful.
When
but Tim, you love terrible things like things that are that
well,
cringy
that's why I said
terrible.
I want to see on its merits because I do want to see
Okay,
The Brink
okay,
of War
fair,
because I'm sure
fair.
it's going to be at some point. I want to sit down and just watch every single Angel Studios release in a row,
You
and
should.
whatever is left of my brain at the end of that process will write a post about the experience.
Should write a book about that experience.
Maybe. I will say
Okay.
that the Brink of War has Jared Harris as Mikhail Gorbachev, which in another
Yes.
context would get me very excited.
That
Yes.
is good casting, and yet they make the decision to like make these characters completely unrecognizable. And like this Gorbachev is a nuclear warmonger, while this Reagan is the one pushing for
Yeah.
total disarmament. It's just like, what universe are we living in here? This is
The
the
universe that's
most.
trying to rewrite history in favor of the
Hmm.
Republican Party. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Um, anyway, I guess we've talked about the brink of war.
I,
Sorry, that's
I
my
guess
fault.
so. So,
Yeah.
what do y'all think about the end of Oak Street?
I think it looks delightful.
It
Like
does,
so
right?
stupid and fun and delightful. Yes. Yeah. And Ewan McGregor, like, sign me up for anything
Yeah.
that's not a Star Wars prequel that Ewan
The
McGregor is
the
in. I'm in.
leads are Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, who I both like, and
Good pairing.
the director is David Robert Mitchell, who I haven't seen Under the Silver Lake, which was his most recent film, like 8 or 9 years ago. But he's also the director of
Ooh.
It Follows, and I feel like
Oh, okay.
It Follows buys a lot of goodwill. Obviously,
Yeah.
Definitely.
not enough for me to see his follow up to It Follows, but
Do you want to, because it's not clear from the title, do you want to tell people what it's about?
um, I mean, I kind of think that it looks like what it's about will be a delightful surprise when you're watching it, but
Okay, fair, fair.
Unless you've
But I
seen
mean,
the
you see
trailer
it from the
Well,
16
trailer.
unless you've seen the
times, so
trailers.
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
it's they are pushing this one very hard too, at
I
least at AMC.
I had not seen the trailer until I was watching it for the purpose of this episode. I knew the movie was coming out because of the cast and the director, but basically a suburban family, their house somehow gets like warped to a place where there are dinosaurs. And so there are dinosaurs at the end of Oak Street.
Yeah, it's great.
What more do you need to know?
It's great.
It looks
It's
so dumb.
it's Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor versus dinosaurs. And if that doesn't move anything in you, why do you cinema?
Yes.
We're always complaining on the Discord about how like Jurassic World just eats or like sucks all the air out of the room with regard to dino movies. And we
Mhm.
just don't get many dino movies of any sort at all. Part of
Mhm.
that is the difficulty of like, well, do you insert humans into this somehow? If so, how? And you know, you can just do it like this. You can just take a chunk of a neighborhood and throw it into Dino Land and give us
Yeah.
a dinosaur movie. So yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
This
I'm
weekend,
curious.
we actually have two coming out this weekend that we're talking about. Two dinosaur movies, sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Do you want to introduce the other Dennis?
Sure. The other dinosaur movie is called Paw Patrol, the Dino Movie. I had to look up the subtitle there for a
Yeah.
second. And it is
Is
exactly what that sounds like.
is this the third Paw Patrol movie or is it the fourth?
I actually wrote in my notes for this which Paw Patrol movie is this, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I think maybe the third.
It's for sure the third.
Okay. But I haven't seen any of them, shockingly.
I saw the first one and it was sufficient to make me feel that Paw Patrol was not a media property I needed to engage with ever again in any capacity. So
Yeah,
so I
Yeah.
I am now looking at a still because I have the IMDb page open, and I feel like that alone is enough to make me feel like I'm wasting my time in my eyes.
yeah. I mean, I feel like I've absorbed what Paw Patrol is just by virtue of spending time with 4-year-olds,
Hmm.
and that's enough.
Yeah.
I feel the working title becoming the actual title of this movie tells you about how much the filmmakers cared about the
Totally,
material.
totally. Yep.
All right, and this is a pretty packed weekend. We have actually a couple other wide releases, um, uh, which both look sort of like character-y stories in their own way. One's a comedy, one's a drama. The
Hmm.
drama is, hang on, The Rivals of Amziah King, which is a a beekeeper who reunites with his daughter to help save his honey business, basically.
This is
But
such a Matthew
also,
McConaughey
It's
part.
such a
yeah.
Matthew McConaughey part.
It's like the Lincoln lawyer with bees.
It's like a
Um,
Lincoln Lawyer with bees.
yeah, I didn't know what to say about this movie.
I,
From the director of The Vast of Night, which doesn't inspire a
Oh,
ton of confidence in
like
me.
I liked that movie.
I
That's interesting. I didn't
I
realize that.
I admired that movie while not especially enjoying the experience of watching it, but
Yeah,
it was ambitious as hell, and I
The
do like
concept is
exactly.
that.
cool. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I think it was a good short film concept. But this does look like more of a substantial feature length story this time around. So
But it
I could
also
see it
looks
playing
like
out.
less distinctive.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
this feels like there are 12 movies at every Sundance that have exactly this log
Hmm.
line.
So much
Yeah.
Only
Americana.
instead of bees, it's in one of them he quilts, and in one of them
Yes.
he like makes artisan cheeses. I don't know.
Yeah. It looks like a movie that was probably like an Oprah's book club book, but
Yeah.
I don't think it actually
It's
was.
an original script.
Yeah, and I
It's
mean
writer
exactly,
director Andrew
but it has
Patterson.
that flavor.
It
Like,
does. It
yeah.
absolutely does.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It looks very. I don't know.
It's
It's
confusing why he keeps doing movies like this.
right.
Like you're better than this. I mean, maybe it's good. I don't want to like shit all over it prematurely, but it just looks kind of schmaltzy.
It looks kind of schmaltzy, and it looks I don't know, just like so. Again, like every year since the 80s has had like 12 of these that get picked up by like Grasshopper or some other small distributor trying to get any awards attention and failing. And it's like this feels like a weird place to go after the Vast of Night.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Matthew McConaughey is still trapped in the video game world created by his child and Serenity and is forced to play out continuing permutations of these small town Americana artisan guys.
I mean, that's the
Maybe.
most likely explanation, yes.
Yeah. And and then the last release of the weekend is The Wrong Girls, which is a film that I want to be excited about based on reading the cast list,
Hmm.
and I am not.
I feel like maybe it'll be cute.
Okay, so it's Kristen Stewart and Alia Shawkat as two stoner girls who take a drug that makes them psychic, basically, and shenanigans ensue. Cast also has Kate Blanchett, has Tony Hale, so a teeny tiny little Arrested Development reunion there. Also has Lakeith Stanfield down the
Hmm.
cast list. So it's got people, but
Yeah.
it's just like the comic vibe here is not, I think, the kind that I respond to.
I'm really hoping that this is a weirdly cut trailer that actually, like the movie actually maybe works okay. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because it is a
Maybe.
little hard to tell the flow.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
There's a
how big
joke.
a part Seth Rogen's talking cat will be in the
Yeah,
final
yes.
production.
Yeah.
There's a joke about
I
Oasis in the trailer that I laughed out loud at. So like,
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I will definitely say a movie about ingesting drugs that has Seth Rogen anywhere on the cast list is a movie that I'm immediately like on the defense a little bit.
Yeah.
I've burned out on him. I don't want him in anything ever again.
Yeah.
Is where I'm at with Seth
Recently,
Rogen.
it's been diminishing returns. But this kind of did it remind anybody else, the trailer of this, with them trying to make Rent and everything, like a white version of One of Them Days from last year, the Kiki Palmer
I
movie,
missed that
which
film.
is
Yeah,
that
I
was
didn't
pretty
see that.
delightful. I think it was
Okay.
Brendan who championed it and got me to watch that one. But
Okay.
it's like a similar, it's not like a drug movie, but there are some in it, but it's more like a, two broke women have to make rent by the end of the day. Increasingly insane hijinks happen to them as they get caught up in all these criminal societies
Yeah.
and competing interests, which that one is fun. And this is reminding me of it. And I don't know if that's, by proxy or if it's, we'll see, I guess. It's hard
I
to tell
will
from the
say
trailer.
I saw that the writer director was named Dylan Meyer, and I didn't think anything more about it. Turns out Dylan is in this case a Lady Dylan, which I had not clocked.
Hmm.
Dylan Meyer is Kristen Stewart's wife.
Oh,
Oh,
So
okay.
so
Interesting.
all of a sudden this now feels like I have less enthusiasm. I don't know. It's like this feels like a project that Kristen Stewart is
I'm
doing
trying-
as a favor to keep peace in the household. I don't know.
yeah, that's a good call. I have no idea what this will be.
I have no idea what this will be.
Yeah,
exactly.
the trailer ground to a halt for me with Kate McKinnon showing up, and I was like,
Talk about
like-
people whose star immediately started dimming.
yeah, it's like she's one of those people who, no matter who she's playing, is herself.
Is Kate McKinnon.
And that
yeah.
it's just hard to look past it. So, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I'm hearing maybes.
Yeah.
I'm a probably not, but I'm hearing maybes from you too.
If there's good buzz, I'll go to it.
Okay.
I mean, you haven't even seen The Odyssey, Tim, so you've got a lot of
Well, there's
really
this
high
is-
standards.
Let us be clear. I will not be seeing most of these films in theaters.
Yes.
I will be seeing them eventually, but for some of them, I will be seeing them never. Like I will be seeing the Paw Patrol dinosaur movie never.
Never.
And one hopes.
Thank goodness.
We shall see.
Yeah.
So let's skip ahead then to August the 21st, where we have 4 releases. I might as well keep going in alphabetical order because that's kind of how we've been going. We have, is it Insidious 6?
Wow.
I think it's Insidious 6.
Did not know they'd gotten that far.
Anyways, it's called Insidious Out of the Further. And it's Insidious 6. And that is what I have to say about it.
I had a dyslexic moment where I misread that as Insidious Out of the Furor, and I had a much
Oh,
different
no.
idea of what
I
sort
would-
of sequel this might be.
I would go see that more than I would go see this.
I-
That sounds different.
I feel like it is an Insidious movie that does not have the Rose Byrne and oh my God, the husband. He's in things. We know his name. Patrick Wilson. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So-
other generic guy. Yeah.
So it has no Patrick Wilson and no Rose Byrne, which actually feels like a positive thing to me because I think this franchise just turning into generic monster of the week style storytelling can only help it. I at this point I have thrown away too much bad money against the Insidious franchise. I'm just going to keep doing it. Like anytime there's new Insidious, I'll see it.
Wow, you and I are the exact opposite ends of the Insidious spectrum. I did not even watch this trailer. I was like, I will absolutely not be seeing that. The end.
I get that.
Yeah.
It's Insidious 6.
And yet, Mazel Tov, go forth.
Well,
and
it's just like
enjoy Insidious
I mean,
6.
once you've seen the first 5 Insidiouses, it's like what on earth would cause you to stop seeing them?
That's one way to think about it.
Death
Yeah.
and only death will cause me to stop watching the Insidious movies, even though I think I've liked like 1 and 3 are the only ones I've enjoyed. All right, what about you, Caleb? Are you a thumbs up on Insidious Out of the Furor?
No, I would have to.
Out of the Fury.
I would be on that one, but just for the plot implications. But I would have to catch up on a number of other Insidious movies first, which I don't really feel inclined to do anytime soon. So.
I don't blame you. So charging right on along. Jason Statham's
Horror.
new movie is called Mutiny.
They could just call these movies Jason Statham movie August 2026,
They-
and it
they
would give
sure
you
could.
exactly the same
I
information.
I did not watch the trailer, but the logline says after his billionaire industrialist boss is murdered in front of him, Cole Reed is set up to take the fall for the crime, leaving him on the run as he works to uncover an international conspiracy. Sure.
Yeah.
Of course. What else?
I mean,
There's so many international conspiracies in
there's
Jason
just
Statham movies.
so many.
Yeah. I will
And
say I started this trailer and for a split second, and this happens to me a lot with Jason Statham. I was like, wait, that's Bruce Willis. And it's not.
and then it
It's
turned
not.
out
It's
to
just
be
a
Jason
different
Statham.
generic bald white guy. So
Yeah.
turned out Bruce Willis has not made a miraculous recovery, sadly. So
No, I feel like I don't avoid Jason Statham films. I just don't see them. And
Yeah.
once this year's model has gone off of the dealer room floor,
Mhm.
it just doesn't drive me by me again. So
I feel like he's great as like a as like an enhancement to movies and not the main feature.
yes,
Like when he shows up as an extraneous character, it's great. Like a little spice being put on top of a movie. And then when it's all spice, it's not good anymore.
he's also
Yeah.
someone. Oh, go ahead, Caleb.
I was just going to throw him into Fast and Furious. Yeah, that's fine. I'll be down
Exactly.
for that.
Yeah.
Big
I would
ensemble.
say he's also someone who I think is funny, and so it's a pity that the movies where he's the lead aren't comedies.
Totally.
Mm.
Or at least have some
Or even
comic
like
element.
vaguely humorous, like they're
Yeah.
very serious in very dreary ways, and he's good when he's like the tough guy who's also like hapless and slapsticky and quips or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like if we still had cable and you still switched around on cable on a Saturday morning, I would
Mm.
probably eventually see the last two-thirds of Mutiny on cable, but since we don't, I probably will never see a frame of it. So that brings us then to Spa Weekend.
Oh God.
There you go. Starring just a whole bunch of people
Uh,
who I'm glad they're still getting work. Isla Fisher, Anna Faris, Leslie Mann go on a spa weekend, and it goes poorly.
Glad they're still
Yeah.
getting work is how I feel about this whole genre of like book club movies. I think, like they're not for me. I'll probably see it at a dentist office playing above me involuntarily at some point. But other than that, like they're are you in the audience for these at all, Cameron? Do you know anyone who's in?
Not really. I mean, I certainly am not. I feel like movies like this are kind of continually trying to recapture the like lightning in the bottle that was Bridesmaids. And
hmm
it's just never gonna happen like that
Mm.
again if you're trying to do that. Um, so I feel like I don't know, there's a line in this trailer that like it's hard, it's something about it's hard being friends with white women. And it's kind of like, yeah, we're just really like leaning into a stereotypical middle-aged white woman thing.
hmm
And as a middle-aged white woman, I feel a little like this is not what everybody's like, and it's kind of annoying
Mm.
that's all we see from Hollywood in movies that are just about women. And that's
Yeah,
not true. That's not all, but like these are the big budget comedies that come out of Hollywood about
yeah.
women.
I
And
I vaguely recognize the names of the writers directors, so I just clicked on their filmographies. John Lucas and Scott Moore wrote and
mhm.
directed. These are the people who wrote the first Hangover. They wrote
Oh,
Four Christmases. They wrote Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, and then more
Okay.
recently, when they made the pivot into directing, they made both of the Bad Moms films. And I feel like
Mm.
yes, this absolutely has Bad Moms energy.
yeah, it does. It does.
It's also their first film since 2019.
Huh.
And that
Well,
film was Jexy, if you guys remember Jexy.
sure don't.
I I want to say that that was one of Carrie's most anticipated the season it came out. That was the like awful version of it was like a
Oh,
Siri comedy
Adam
starring Adam
Devine.
Devine.
Oh
Wow.
God, when he was a thing. This oh boy. This
I saw Jexy.
Oh gosh, of course
So
you.
it's like a her parody, right?
and it's like a her parody. This is why I don't see movies anymore. I saw too many films like Jexy and it just shattered my soul.
Yeah, wow. But Rose Byrne.
But Rose
Well,
Byrne. Uh,
yeah.
leaving only one film, which is probably at least the most curious thing to talk about of the four new releases. Uh, Tony, the
Oh, yeah.
the film about Tony Bourdain as a hungry young assistant chef.
As someone
Yeah.
who saw The Bear and decided to make a movie about Anthony Bourdain, that might also be The Bear.
It's
Uh,
something.
I mean, do either of you know, like, is this based on any sort of like memoir or any
Yeah,
like
loosely
journals?
inspired by his first book, right? Kitchen
Okay.
Confidential. Oh wait, was it
Yeah.
Kitchen Confidential? The his first one.
I don't know.
Uh, there isn't a book in the credits.
Okay. Um, I
There
feel
are,
like,
however, four screenwriters.
oh no. Oh, well, that says it all, I think. Um, I feel like, is it Dominic Sessa? Is
It's
that how you?
Dominic Sessa, yeah.
Yeah, he's interesting to me. I feel like he has an interesting screen presence. He was the kid in the Leftovers. What was that movie called?
Holdovers.
The
Yeah, yeah, he was
Holdovers.
he was really good in that.
Oh,
He's
yes, that's why I knew who he
he's
was.
really
Okay.
good in that, and that like maybe the only part of that movie that I liked. That's a different discussion. But um I he has an interesting vibe. And so I felt like watching this trailer like, oh, I'm gonna be a total sucker for this because it's about like a pop culture person that I really enjoyed
Mhm.
and also looks like kind of it knows how to pull on some heartstrings and also Antonio Banderas is in it.
It does
Like
have Antonio
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
Banderas.
good
like
mark in its favor.
you
Yeah.
know, in the desert that is August, perhaps it'll be a good one. So,
It's
I I feel similarly, and I adored Anthony Bourdain. He's like one of those few celebrity deaths that I did cry.
yeah.
And at some point in the trailer, like the lines started coming out there. Like at one point, I think the girlfriend character asks him, "Are you a good guy or a bad
Yeah.
guy?" And I was just like crawling into my skin a little bit at the direction that seemed to be taking us in the screenwriting. But
Yeah.
maybe if it's not the too many cooks in the kitchen thing, like I want to like this movie and the
it
lead
just
actor in it.
it
hmm
And
it
yeah.
feels to me like it's based on the meme version of Anthony Bourdain and not the
The
living
actual,
human being
Hmm.
yeah.
version of Anthony Bourdain. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be.
I
Yeah.
will say it's directed by Matt Johnson, whose last film was Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie,
Oh,
and whose film
interesting.
previous to that was Blackberry, which
Hmm.
I've
Oh,
seen
which is
neither.
quite good. Blackberry is surprisingly good. Like
That's what
I
I've
skipped it
heard,
as a
and
biopic, but yeah,
and
went saw it
it
later.
feels like between those two, like there's going to be some level of real filmmaking here. I don't know.
Okay.
I find the project kind of suspect.
It's shot by
Mhm.
But
Michael Bauman. That's impressive.
oh, that's interesting.
That's
Okay.
very interesting. That makes me want to see it more.
Yeah, no, it does. So I don't know. There could be something here. I
Yeah,
don't know.
let's hope.
It feels odd as a project, but who can say?
Well, it feels odd as a project coming out in August, I think in particular. Like it seems like this maybe was meant for an October or
Mm,
November, and they're kind of like maybe it's not quite that good. I don't
hmm
know.
Mm.
But
maybe.
yeah, we'll see, I suppose.
All
I
right.
would see this. Yeah.
Well, that gets us to the last weekend of the month, August 28th. Another fairly packed one, five movies. I am going to immediately pull one of these out to talk about, and that would be Coyote versus Acme.
Of
Obviously,
Yes.
course,
Yes.
uh,
of course.
film that got made like 5 years ago or
Oh,
something like
really?
that. It has been finished for like a while, and it is a film in which the coyote from the Looney Tunes decides to sue the Acme Corporation for fucking his shit up one too many times.
Great
Uh,
hook.
It
Great
is a
hook.
great hook. Yeah.
It's so it's been made. Warner's just was sitting on it forever, much like they did with The Day the Earth Blew Up from last year. This finished Looney Tunes feature that they just were like, well, we've got it, and we do not care about monetizing these characters or whatsoever. So let's just forget that it exists. And it's both more interesting than that film in that it is a live action animated hybrid, but also to me perhaps less interesting in that it feels it just feels like it's not sure what it is, and maybe that's me
Yeah.
not being sure what it is. It's a good hook that when you start to figure out how is this going to be an hour and a half long movie, I don't
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how it's going to be an hour and a half long movie. The coyote is a character who can sustain 6 consecutive minutes.
I feel like the coyote is probably actually a smaller part in this than we see in the trailer.
That could
You
be.
Hmm.
because I think you're right. Especially, I mean, he doesn't talk ever, right?
I he shouldn't, because when he
He
does
Um,
shouldn't.
talk,
Yeah.
it's very upsetting.
Yeah. So I feel like it's gonna be mostly lawyers and things and the coyote holding up silly signs in the courtroom, which is kind of what I want from it. I don't know. I I read the title and I was like, please let this be about the coyote suing a big corporation. And lo and behold,
Lo and
it
behold,
was, yeah. So, yay.
yeah, like this is
does
a
it?
movie. I'm rooting for it just because I'm glad it exists, but I
Mhm.
also I feel like I'm going to want it to be something different than it is because of my relationship to this character. But
Well, and it's also like you have to start to think like, okay, so this movie is, I feel like our generation, and I'm including Caleb, because even though I think you're quite a bit younger than me, like we're maybe the last kind of adult generation that was really engaged with the Looney Tunes.
I think that's
Hmm,
correct.
that could be
And
true. Yeah.
yeah, so like it's kind of made for millennials and slightly younger than that. And I don't think there's a huge audience for this, which maybe is why it's getting dumped in August. Like,
Maybe.
but at the same time, there was a remake of Space Jam recently, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The thing that worries me the most is that I mean it was completely canned and then sold off and all of that drama. Then the budget being kind of questionable for the final production. Like some of the animation looks pretty suspect to me in the trailer. Like Foghorn Leghorn in particular
Hmm.
looked really
Foghorn
dire
is
Hmm.
when we saw
clearly
him.
the worst looking character.
Yeah.
That
And
concerned me a little bit because
yeah,
you want the animation to be good in a Looney Tunes movie.
oh, for
Yeah.
Get
sure.
good comic timing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see. I ended up quite liking The Day the Earth Blew Up, so I'm hopeful, but the trailer for this one feels like it's not tickling my pleasure centers the way that the trailers for Day the
Yeah.
Earth Blew Up did.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm glad it's coming out and that's not just one of those like Batwoman style movies where the entire everyone who worked on it will never get to see the fruits of their labor and nobody's
Exactly.
Yeah.
allowed to watch it. And it's very sad and unnecessary when that happens. So
It really is. Yeah.
All right. So that does leave us with a handful of other movies releasing the same weekend. Anyone want to go through them in any particular order?
there's a Ridley Scott movie, right?
There's
I
Yeah.
mean,
there's
that's
a
a
Ridley
coin
Scott movie.
toss for being something fun and
It's
interesting. And
it's a coin toss, but the coin has like 5 sides and only one of them is good.
okay, like a die, perhaps.
It's like a
Yeah.
die. I think Ridley Scott is he has a couple masterpieces and a few good films, and then just a whole lot of I don't know,
mediocrities.
just
Work a
chaff.
day kind of stuff. Yeah.
Just like packing foam.
And this looks like extremely standard post-apocalyptic fare of the kind that we were saturated with on
Hmm.
HBO for 10 years. But
Yeah.
and then Jacob Elordi, Josh Brolin, Margaret Qualley, you know, that those are some dynamic actors. I enjoy watching them often, even in movies that are not necessarily worthy of their talents. And you know, this could be. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, he's currently coming off of House of Gucci, Napoleon, and Gladiator 2. And before that was The Last Duel. And I kind of liked The Last Duel.
I liked
It,
The Last Duel
yeah,
at the
yeah.
time. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it since, but yeah.
So I don't know. I feel Ridley Scott disappoints me more often than he pleases me. And as you say, Caleb, this is a pretty every apocalyptic movie looking apocalyptic movie. Apocalyptic movie. Ugh, I can talk.
Blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't do a whole lot for me, but
Yeah.
if someone like I was hanging out with someone who really wanted to see it, I would go see it, but I'm not gonna be running out on my own.
No, it's also it's I think Jacob Lordy's first post Frankenstein movie, is that correct?
Well, there was Wuthering Heights.
Oh, that's right, that
Mm.
existed. So it's the second post
Right.
Frankenstein movie and his first post Wuthering Heights movie. So he's like we're supposed to care about him. I don't know if I do, but we're supposed to.
I mean,
Yes.
I feel like he is an interesting person to look at on camera, besides just being very hot. Like he has a face for cinema, so I'm usually
Mhm.
He's
happy to see him in
bizarrely
things.
tall, which is interesting.
Hmm.
I think.
Yes. Yeah, I would hate to shoot him. It would make everything hard. Like, yeah, he's bizarrely tall. I also
Which is
yeah, I
perfect for a
don't
Frankenstein monster.
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah, and honestly, kind of it was perfect for what's his name in Wuthering Heights too, Heathcliff. But I don't know. I can't quite. I don't think there's as much there with Jacob Elordi as everyone else seems to. Um, it may be because I don't think he's as hot as everyone else seems
I
to,
mean, I
but
I don't find him particularly hot, and I also don't find there to be a lot of there. So I
but
agree
at
with
the
you.
same time, like, hey, he's making interesting choices
True.
as an actor, and that is more valuable to me than a lot of young actors. So,
No, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Um, well, that leaves us with just a couple movies, at least two of which I'm not 100% sure actually wide releases. So we'll go first to a film that I am, which is a remake of Cliffhanger.
Which did you guys
Wait,
find a trailer for this?
no, I didn't. I
There was
couldn't. I
no
tried.
trailer,
There
right?
was an
Like
AI generated Cliffhanger 2 trailer that came up. That was I was
there,
very confused. What is going on here?
the only trailer I could find, I clicked on and it turned out to just it was labeled as a 2026 cliffhanger. Turned out to be the original cliffhanger trailer
Okay.
from with Stallone. Like,
So is this
so
really coming
is
out
this a
next
real
month?
thing? Yeah, I don't know. It says it has Lily James and Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, it's got a real director, it has a real cast. It exists. There's production stills, but maybe it's going to miss that release date. It's hard to say. Um, I find the idea of remaking Cliffhanger so bizarre because it's not like good, and everything that is pleasurable about it is not going to be replicable outside of the early 90s.
That's the thing is it's such a broad like foreign people bad kind of movie. Like, the very character stereotypical foreign
Hmm.
evil people trying to I don't even remember what their
Well, it's Die
their
Hard.
motivation
It's
is.
it's just
Yes.
straight up Die Hard. It's Die Hard on a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. And the scenery is amazing and that's like that was kind of the draw was the effects in the scenery back in the
Yeah,
early 90s
exactly.
and Stallone. But like yeah, if
Yeah,
they remake, I'd be interested to see what they do with a remake because I'm sure they'll fairly uh comprehensively redo the plot and script, but yeah, it's hard to know when you don't have a trailer.
exactly. Okay,
And we did
so
just have, if people do want a cliffhanging thriller, the Charlize Theron vehicle, Apex, I don't know, like 8 months ago or something like that.
Oh.
It's a Netflix one, so it had a really limited
ah,
theatrical release. But the scenes about climbing cliffs in it are pretty thrilling and dramatic. And she apparently did nearly all her own stunts until she broke a bone,
Mm.
and then they had some substitution on a few. But
Huh.
she's a real highlight in that film. If people need that itch scratched.
I totally
okay.
missed that movie as existing. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pretty much miss anything that's a Netflix original, so that's
Right.
that's not
Right.
shocking.
Oh, and she's opposite Taron Egerton in that one. I almost
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, somebody also having a Jacob Elordi like moment, although his has been going on a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So that leaves us with just a couple remaining films, one of which is Buddy,
Mm.
which is a pretty generic looking horror movie about how children's media from the 80s is actually satanic and it's going to kill you. Ah.
Creepypasta.
And I appreciate the effort to replicate TV aesthetics, but
Yes.
it's I'm done.
Looks
I don't
bad.
I don't care for this form of ironic let's screw with children's media. It's the pedigree includes like the production team has worked on not like the filmmaker I don't think, but the production team has worked on Weapons, which obviously is something that was buzzy last year, and then I believe the director directed or maybe just wrote Too Many Cooks,
I don't know that one.
the viral
No.
video from it's like 5 minutes long. It's a viral video from the early
Oh.
2010s. That's a parody of sitcom opening credit sequences that got pretty buzzy when it hit the internet.
Hmm.
And is quite well done at the level of like pastiching media. So like that gives me a modicum of hope, but I don't want an hour and a half of it.
Hmm.
So this I don't know.
Okay.
This looks like something that I will need to have just off the charts good reviews to think about seeing.
Yeah.
And then lastly is something called Finding Emily, which
This is an August release if ever
this
there was
this is
one.
the
Like
most August of all releases.
this is the like your Kinky Boots Full Monty slot of British weird comedy,
Hmm.
but it looks even indier than either of those.
It looks quite indie, which
Yeah,
might just be because I
very
don't
sweet.
I don't recognize the male lead and I
Mhm.
vaguely recognize the female lead, Angourie Rice.
I don't recognize either of them. But I don't, it looks kind of funny. It,
Yeah, look
I
It'll,
cute.
mean,
it'll be cute.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, I do kind of
Oh, he was
recognize
he
this
was in
male
After
lead.
Sun apparently. Okay,
Oh,
was he in there?
And it does have
and
Minnie
he,
Driver in it.
yeah, and Phil Wang. Oh, he's great. Okay, I'll see it.
Oh, I don't think I know who Phil Wang is.
Oh, he's a British comedian. He's very awkward. I like him. He was
Oh,
on the best season of Taskmaster.
he
So
he
there you
was
go.
he was in
Which number was
Wonka,
that?
so I have seen him.
7.
Hmm,
He's on season 7 of Taskmaster, which if you've never seen Taskmaster, you
that's
really
a funny
should,
show.
but don't start with season 7. You gotta start with like 4 or 5 and then
You'll
build
miss
up
the
to
lore.
7. Because like, well, no, it's not the lore. It's just that like if you start with the best season, then you're gonna be
Yeah.
disappointed with the rest, you know?
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, that does it for the wide releases of the very thrilling month of August. Which again, it's August. It's where they just put stuff so that Odyssey and Spider-Man 5 or however many Spider-Mans are at this point don't lose too much momentum on their trips to $1 billion. So
Right.
I don't know. It'll be what it'll be. We do have some limited releases coming out. Either of you feel particularly moved to pluck any of those out and say that you're excited?
Let's
I
see.
know. Cameron, do you have yours offhand?
No, not yet. Go ahead.
Because there were two, and I know Tim, you were not particularly fond of I Saw the TV Glow, and that was one I
Uh,
think you said you felt bad about having seen because you like
That
like you
is
were saying today, didn't
very
want
much
to
so. I
cramp
knew I
on.
wasn't going to like it, so I didn't want to see it, and the only reason I did is because I had to vote on an award for which it
uh,
was nominated.
Yeah. Well, I was one of those people for whom that was one of my favorite and most interesting films of the year. I'm really digging Jane Schoenbrun's thing, and I'm very excited for Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma.
mhm.
It looks psychedelic. It looks sick. It looks like it stars Gillian Anderson. So
Sure
I'm
does.
in on multiple
I
counts
mean, Gillian
here.
Anderson is certainly exciting to me.
Yeah.
Now it's been a while since I saw the trailer. I should have rewatched it for today, but I forget. She's like a former final girl who now runs the camp of horrors? Is that
That
right, or do I something like that?
that was my impression. Well, I think it's more that she's a former final girl who now lives at the camp that is maybe not operating anymore.
Ah, okay,
But
yeah.
I could be
Well,
wrong about that. I've only
I
watched this once, but I've heard from a few people who've already seen it that it's great. So,
Oh, awesome.
yeah.
okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
No, I think it's actually about making a slasher film about
It
a final
is.
girl. Yeah. So like
Mhm.
It is, but
I'm pumped.
it's also I think it's more self-referential than that.
Sure.
Like it's a little meta in its construction
Yeah.
of how that came to happen. So,
Okay.
yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
Because Camp Miasma is the name of the film that she originally starred
Right.
in, did a whole series of. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah. So we're gonna get multiple layers going in here.
Hmm.
It seems like it's got a lesbian romance at the
Hmm.
center. So yeah, I'm really digging the vibes of this thing. Even though when I saw the trailer 3 months ago or whatever, it just sort of washed over me sensorially, and I'm like, well, I'm watching this regardless. I don't need to pay too
Sure.
close attention.
Yeah, this is a title that I've already written down on my list of charades titles for
Oh, nice.
Thanksgiving this year. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I certainly do not begrudge Jane Schoenbrun having a very surprisingly robust career at this point. Uh, I I think that I think that they have a relationship to the media they consumed as an adolescent that I do not have a way into, and so just
Hmm.
find the project alienating.
Well,
And
you can expand your
Yeah.
horizons a little bit here.
I will be skipping this movie.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Do you
Uh,
have a limited release that you're excited about?
I mean, there were a few that intrigued me, but excited is perhaps the wrong word. Like, I thought Late Frame with Willem Dafoe, which kind of it's like about a poet who is adopted by poetry fans in New York, and he's like kind of an old um semi-retired writer, and these younger hip people like discover him and um make him a big deal again, is
Mhm.
what it seems like. So it looks kind of poignant and maybe funny, and I like Willem Dafoe a lot. So that looked
Mhm.
interesting to me. Um, I hope it's not one of these movies that's like really good and then just goes unnoticed because it's August and nobody's
Mhm.
going to the movie theaters. Um, and then the same weekend, there's something called Olmo, which is like a coming of age film uh, about two young boys, I think, who one of them is supposed to take care of his father and goes out instead. His father is wheelchair bound and goes out instead that night, and something happens to the dad. We don't know what. But it kind of did either of you see Dee Dee that came out a couple years ago?
I did not.
Yeah.
It gave me Dee Dee vibes, and I really liked that movie, but just this sort of like very small indie movie that is just exactly the kind of thing I want to see in the dregs of August,
Mm.
like to kind of brighten the end of the summer a little bit. It looked good to me, and it's also
Yeah.
about them trying to like uh go to a party with girls and like learn how to dance with girls and stuff. And it's just it looks cute and also kind of sad and like that is my sort of thing sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's really it.
Yeah.
How about you, Tim?
I will say, as I looked at this list, I was growing increasingly despairing. I could not find a single limited release film that I actually wanted to see. So I'm going to instead I'm going to mention the film that would have been mentioned by this site's co-founder Rob Jarzynski if he were still with us. Rob, of course,
Hmm.
passed a couple years ago. There's a new Macon Blair film coming out. It's called Idiots. It stars Dave Franco and O'Shea Jackson Jr. And Rob was just an enormous fan of Macon Blair's, and I know he
Hmm.
would have been
Mm.
very excited that this was coming out if he were still here. So I just want to kind of
Mm.
call that out
Yeah.
and say that we miss you, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
also a
Did
new zombie movie coming out from the guy who did Train to Busan, which is kind of exciting.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that trailer.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it'll be as good. I really liked Train to Busan. I don't know if it'll be as good. It's very visually.
Colony, right?
Yeah.
Colony.
That's
The
one.
the trailer was pretty, which sometimes is enough to get me there. So, you know.
Colony would have been the one I would have picked if I had actually picked a film for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Ah,
I feel like I'm a little zombied out, but also Train to
Yes.
Busan is
yeah, same.
really great. So
Yes.
It is. Did y'all see the Hotspot trailer?
Yeah, it
That
honestly
was
really confused me. So,
it. I mean, it's got this like sort of lo-fi, corny cyberpunk thing going on, like very
yep.
fleshy and bloody, but the vibes kind of reminded me of Prisoners of the Ghostland a little,
Hmm.
the Nick
oh
Cage
yeah, I can
weird
see that.
Western
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
in some ways. And so maybe I don't know if it was just riding those associations, but I thought that this could potentially be something here, something weird, vaguely off-putting, but kind of intriguing, messy, low to mid budget. Yeah, cyberpunk sort of setting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be something there.
The director, I will butcher her name very badly. It's Polish. But she also directed The Lure, which is a film that I thought was very captivating, although somewhat hard to like. So I'm definitely like
Mm.
interested in seeing her stuff.
Hmm.
Like I
Okay.
think she is certainly she has a vision, and I like seeing that vision sort of get played with.
Oh, I wasn't going to shout it out, but I saw the with the Magic Faraway
Far
Tree
away.
trailer and
Oh,
very
wow.
rudely wrote in my notes "Bridge to Temu Bethia." So that was about my thoughts on that
Yes.
one.
I mean, that's so on point. And it's also it reminded the visuals of that reminded me a lot of the like absolutely awful Wrinkle in Time movie. for the Ava
Oh,
DuVernay Wrinkle in Time, where
Yes.
it's just like, dear God, what are we
Very-
doing?
very cheap
like
sort of
Lisa
color vomit.
Frank does Wrinkle in Time. Like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. So
I will say about this film, which looks not good, it has one of its credits is Judi Dench as the voice of the fridge.
yes, I saw that too.
Like, okay,
Get that check.
I am pleased you haven't retired yet, Dame Judy. So yeah, so that I think probably wraps up August of 2026. It's August. It's August.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining me. Before we go, any exciting news, any places we can find you online, anything that's kind of going on? Caleb, how about you?
Nothing quite coming out at the moment, but you can follow me at Caleb Wimble on Letterboxd and on Blue Sky, and you can follow the games I make at sojournrpg.com.
All right. Cameron, how about yourself?
No, not really. I you know, as per usual that I've been saying in the last year, Babysitters Club podcast is on sort of extended hiatus while life happens for various people. I've been working on a documentary, and I can't say anything about that yet, but will be excited to talk about it in a year or so when it actually happens.
Sounds
So
great.
That is
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, and that's been taking up a lot of my time, so I've been a little MIA from here. So apologies, but you can always see what I think about Excalibur on Letterboxd.
And I, as always, am Tim Brayton. This is my website, and sometimes you can see me write reviews here. Sometimes you can hear my voice on a podcast, and increasingly rarely you can see me write things on Letterboxd. Life is smoothing out. I should be able to get back at least to Letterboxd and watching movies, I hope, as opposed to just like I've been playing video games. I'll be honest. I got to switch to.
Oh, what are you playing?
I've been playing Mario Kart World.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Listen, everybody
Fun time.
deserves like a brain break. It's okay.
yeah. So once I have unlocked all of the cups and done that, good joy. So I will get back to watching movies and activating that part of my brain a little bit. But till next time, thank you all for listening. We will be coming back with an episode of Your Movie Rocks, hosted by Mandy Alpert. So check that out next week. Thanks, everybody.